Hello, and welcome back to another edition of Carrie's Gardening Channel. So today is January 3rd, 2022, and I want to talk to you about a few things today for growing seedlings and for caring for seedlings and a few reasons why your seedlings aren't growing. Now, I did do a video before on why your seeds might not be germinating, so if you're having an issue with that, you can go ahead and check out that video. But a question that I get asked is, for one, how do I water my seedlings and how often? Um, so that's kind of a hard question to answer because I don't know your growing climate, but I will tell you how I take care of my seedlings. So one of the important things when taking care of seedlings is you want to make sure that you keep your soil moist. And this is what I tell people. You want to keep your soil moist, but you don't want it to be soggy. Like, you don't want it to be over wet. You don't want your seedlings to be standing in water. So like when I water my seedlings, I water them till water runs out the bottom. And once it stops running out the bottom, it should not be continuing to just, run out. You want it to just kind of run out the bottom. Everything's nice and moist. Seedlings need to be fed. So when your seeds first germinate, the seed itself, unless it's a weak seed or it's a really old seed, which means that most of the energy in it would be used up, should have enough plant food in it that it should come up, put out its little true leaves, which I believe it's pronounced cotyledons. And once they start getting their true leaves, you want to start feeding them. Because when your seedlings start getting their true leaves, they've used up all of the food that they had stored in the seed itself. And you want to make sure that you get them fed. Now, my potting mix that I use, or my seed starting mix, I should say, that I use, is the Jiffy Natural Inorganic Seed Starting Mix. So there's no additional plant food in my seed starting mix itself. It's a natural organic plant food. It's nothing added to it. So when my seedlings start getting their true leaves, I start feeding them with a diluted liquid strength plant food. I use 1/4 teaspoon of Miracle-Gro all-purpose plant food to a gallon of water. Now, I don't work for Miracle-Gro. I don't work for Jiffy. I don't work for any of those companies. Now, if you don't want to use the Miracle-Gro all-purpose plant food, you can use a product called Sea Magic that does work too. I'll put a link down in the description for that. These are just things that I use in my garden. I've used them for years, and I've experimented with what works and what doesn't work. And I find that feeding your seedlings, for one, it helps to establish a really healthy root system to the plant, and it helps the plant to really, get stronger and grow. So another thing is, your plants need light. If they don't have enough light, they'll start growing tall and straggly. So these here, of course, they're growing out in a greenhouse, but I do have videos on my channel for how to set up an indoor growing station, and it shows how I used to grow my plants indoors before I even had greenhouses. And it's really important that your seedlings get enough light so that they grow nice and strong. They don't grow tall and straggly. They stay short and low, like to your soil here. Now, sometimes what can happen, this one here is a little taller. It germinated inside the container before I got a chance to get it out, and I had like one more. I was waiting for it to come up. So I kind of let that one in the enclosed thing too long. But you can see here, it's a nice sturdy stem. We do have fans that run, which circulate the oxygen around with the carbon monoxide. So any kind of flower debris, like from something else, you want to make sure you get it out of there, because we don't want to have an issue with dampening off disease, any kind of fungus attacking our seedlings or anything like that. Dampening off disease, if it attacks your seedlings, they're going to start falling over right at the base, and you're going to lose your seedlings. So you can treat your soil with some neem oil solution if you choose to do that, and that'll help prevent dampening off disease. Some people mix it in with their seed starting mix, and that can also help to prevent soil-borne diseases and seed-borne diseases as well. Another thing that we're going to talk about is soil drainage. So when you do your containers, like this one here is a recycled cupcake tray. and I needed a flat basically. I didn't have one at the time, so I used the lid of a cupcake tray, and I can put my little peat pellets over here on this side if I choose to, because there's a little holes drilled in. So you want to make sure you have really good drainage, and you want to make sure that you're using a soil that drains very well. So what I do is I put a bunch of holes in the bottoms of my trays, and I put my seed starting mix in. I already have my seed starting mix pre-moistened, and I find that for me, the Jiffy Natural and Organic Seed Starting Mix drains very well. So that's the mix that I use. You don't want your seedlings standing in water. You don't want them soggy. You don't want your soil over wet. A lot of times people will use different types of just regular soil, or they'll try and use garden soil to start their seeds in, and they run into a lot of issues. The other soils can have like different bacterias and funguses in that can attack your seedlings. Now, it could happen with this type of soil too, but your seed starting mix is specially designed for growing seedlings. It allows the roots to go down through really easy, and you don't want a hard brick. This was a potting mix I had gotten one time. I had tried it a long time ago, and it had that much sand in it, it actually turned almost to what seemed like concrete. And no plants could grow in it, nothing could grow in it. I mean, you could barely even break it with a shovel, because that's how hard it got. So picking out a really good seed starting mix is very important. And I'll put some links down in the description for some of my favorite stuff that I use for starting and growing my seeds. So you also want to make sure that your seedlings are getting really good airflow. And we have a fan running in here that's circulating the air around. For us, we do open the doors of the greenhouses. You know, it's cold outside, but it's really warm in the greenhouse. So we try and regulate the temperature. We have a certain thing that we don't let it go over. And, you know, we get the doors open. Indoors, you know, you're going in and out of your house. You have doors opening, doors closing, fresh air is coming in. So, you know, if you even have a ceiling fan running, that's going to help circulate that air around. And watching when you water your seedlings, you want to water the soil. Try and keep the water off of your leaves, because water on leaves, especially if it's at night, can lead to different funguses attacking your seedlings and blights. It's hard to do when your stuff's outside, like when you plant your tomato plants outside, because when it rains at night, you have no control over that, and that's a lot of times when your tomatoes will start getting blight and diseases attacking them. That's just a little added throw on thing in there. So another thing that you want to do with your seedlings is you do want to transplant them. Like these back here, we're growing in peat pellets. So as soon as the roots started coming out the bottoms of these, I knew that they needed to be transplanted. So I went ahead and put them in larger containers, and I did switch the potting mix on these to a regular potting mix, because these were ready to be transplanted. So like this flat here has a whole lot of winged everlastings in it. And this whole thing is going to get divided out then when their seedlings are large enough, which I'm going to let them get a little bit larger. I'm not going to be the only one transplanting them out. So I definitely want to make sure I have some larger seedlings in here. And we're going to be putting them into individual containers so that they have room to grow on their own. They will get overcrowded in here if I just let them go and grow in here, and it's not going to be the best thing for them. So getting them transplanted out into the individual containers. You can plant your things in like 4-packs or 6-packs, but when I'm doing a whole lot of something, sometimes I'll just go for one of these here. This is actually a strawberry tray reused, and I'll just put my seeds in here. It already has the holes in the bottom of it, and you know, I have my little thing here. I can flip it down and put it on the heat when I'm germinating my seeds, and they make nice little growing trays afterwards. And I'm big on recycling, so I try and reuse things so that they don't, you know, get thrown away, and it works very well. So making sure that you know, thin your seedlings out and get them transplanted into individual containers when they're ready to be is another important thing. So sometimes when you hold your seedlings too long in their trays, it can actually harm the plant because the plant really doesn't have any place to go. They dry out very quickly, and it can make your plants not grow the way that they're supposed to. So that's something that we watch for, and we try and get it done and take care of it as quickly as possible to get them transplanted. Like some of these are really early crops because I already have a plan for them to go into larger containers. So you can see, like, I do quite a bit in flats, especially if I'm not sure of the germination rate of the seeds or if I want a lot, because you can get a lot more in these things here than you can like in your little 4-packs or 6-packs. And I'm trying to conserve my space, and I'm trying to save my seed starting mix. So when these are transplanted, they're going to be transplanted into a regular potting mix. So I believe I covered most of the questions, and I have a lot of videos on my channel for starting different plants from seed. I have yarrow on there, I have celosia, straw flowers, winged everlastings, all different kinds of stuff. And you can do a search on my channel for different videos. So if you like my video, please like, comment, subscribe. Please don't forget to hit the little notification button. It'll tell you as I put a new video on. You can also follow me on Twitter. I'll have a link down in the description to my Twitter account. Thank you for watching, and hope you have a nice day. Bye!